Yeah, I hear you 5x5. Yeah, talk a little bit about the new ships, yeah? How they would fit into the multiplayer. All right, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, but let's say quickly jot down a couple of questions, maybe then you can ask, so I can prepare for them. One of them could be, what are the benefits of stacking, like you say? Um, and then, as you said, what do you think about the new ships and how they fit into multiplayer? And then I'll talk a little bit about that. Do you have any? Uh, do you have any questions that you would suggest? All right. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic question. I'll yes. So yeah, and then ask Shad, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. As I said, I would be very happy as talking about how the all of the new ships and how they would fit into the multiplayer. Well, there's only been one BSC tournament. Yeah, sounds wonderful. So those three questions. Question one, what do you think about the new ships? Question two, stacking. Question three, uh, news. Things like make sure you check out where your turret positionings are. Right click on your ship. Make sure to so you know where all the guns on your ship are, so you can better. So if they're on top, make sure you dive down and stay below the enemy, etc. Stuff like that. Cool, fantastic, and use sliders. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, very well. Send me a Steam message when you're ready. Take care.
Hey, sorry guys, we were actually talking on Skype, so I think what it did was it cut off my voice from the stream while I was on Skype, which is kind of interesting. I thought it was going to go ahead and filter through. But essentially, yeah, we're going to have Sproge come in about after our first game, and he's going to give you guys some tips, some feedback on the ships that we've got. He's actually been playing quite a lot with them, so he basically knows how they work. Oh, thanks. Mic too low. Hold on a sec. He knows how they work. He knows the benefits of them. But more importantly, the reason I want to have Sproge on is, I want him to be able to give some tips to newer players, or even to people that have just kind of shied away from multiplayer in the game. It'd be really cool to build up that multiplayer community, and I know a lot of you are going to really enjoy that. Getting better, said Zach Blood. We can keep pushing it up a bit, and we will probably start this stream a little bit early. Slightly low. Let's see if we can't change that. 1 second. Let's do this. Maybe this is better. And actually, I'm going to go into my mic settings here, and I'm going to put a little of dB boost on, so in case it gets too loud, don't blame me. Here we go. Yeah, this should work. Let's try that. We'll put 1 dB boost, see if that's any better, guys. So essentially, that's the plan for today. We definitely want Sproge to jump on. I'm going to jump on with him on a Skype call. I hope that we don't get the situation we just got where basically it cuts off my voice during the call. That would be kind of unfair. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to post the questions down below in the chat as well, just in case the voice gets cut off. So Sproge is going to be able to come in here, give you guys some feedback, some tips. And yes, Hawkins is absolutely right. Rest in peace, Agrippa, now that Sproge is on. Sproge is an extremely good player. There's no doubt about that. I mean, really, probably, well, currently our best player. Hey, SYT, welcome to the channel. We got a little sheep there. Good to see you, bud. So one thing I'm going to do, guys, we are going to go ahead and take a look here at some of the new ships. Now, I'm going to give you a very rudimentary explanation of what these new ships are, and Sproge is going to give you even more feedback on how to use them. So one thing we have is the Berserk. This Berserk class is a fast and effective force multiplier. The carrier is not designed to survive prolonged engagements by itself. However, when supporting a Battlestar or a strike group, it can provide powerful complementary firepower and squadron support. So I'm basically taking a lot of the newer ships and putting them in this particular build just because I want to see how they work. We've also got the Janus Venerable Heavy Cruiser, an old Geminese ship made popular during the later stages of the Imperial Wars between Vergon and Leonis. Heavy armor plating provides it with enough staying power to remain relevant in modern warfare, although its older fire control systems are considered outdated compared to modern cruisers. So this thing is definitely a beast, but definitely a bit old-fashioned, as it were. But that doesn't stop something from being useful. So that's definitely the bonus here. So one thing I think we're going to do, me and Sproge are going to jump into a multiplayer fight, and I'm going to check these ships out. After that, I'm going to bring Sproge on for a short discussion, and basically get his feedback on a few things, and then we'll jump in for another match, where I'll probably get crushed because he's really, really good. But I think that's how we're going to approach this. So I'm going to jump into multiplayer here. And I believe I am going to go ahead and create the fleet. So let me create the match. 4,000 PvP, 120-second timers. I think we can keep 120-second timers. And I'm going to make it... Actually, I was going to say I'm going to make it private, but I don't think we need to. So we'll keep it public for now. If somebody else joins, we'll make the next match private for sure. Yeah, G. Hawkins. Now, I keep the most original names possible for my fleets. I don't like any pomp and circumstance. Just like Fleet 1, Fleet 2, Fleet 3. If I really like a fleet, I'll rename it. But most of the time, I keep it like this. So we're starting here with Sproge. 4,000 fleet points. He's going to be taking the Cylons during this fight. I believe he might take... No, I believe he's taking the Cylons. And we're going to jump in here. So I want to go ahead and pick the correct fleet, and that's going to be this one. One thing I'm going to do, though, I know Sproge likes stacking, and he's really good at it. So I feel like if we don't stack, we're putting ourselves into a bit of a conundrum. So I'm going to go ahead and try to stack a few of these ships. And again, I have no experience with the new ships at all. So this should be interesting to see how we do, how these ships look. I can't wait to take a look, guys. So here we go. I'm just as excited as you guys are to see some new action here.
Prepared to jump in
Very cool, very cool. Okay. Let's get into the fight. And these are some of the new ships. We're going to be getting a close look here. I was going to say good luck, but Sproge doesn't need luck. He's good enough to live without it. But just getting a quick look here. So as you can see, we've got over here the new and beautiful Janus class. And these things look just epic. They've got two really powerful engines here at the back for thrust. If I'm taking a look here, they have numerous munitions. So with this one, we've got nukes, we've got mines, which is another addition to the game. And I'm not sure if with these mines, if we can basically like fire them out in front of the enemy and wait for the enemy to accidentally stumble across them, or if we have to drop them, you know, sort of like as if we were on land, essentially drop them and just move away. I hope it's the former, because if it's the latter, I think it's going to be a bit tough against a player like Sproge. So we'll go against, we'll do our best here. We're going to end the turn, and we're going to see how these babies move. So as you can see, I have complemented this with one Berserk class ship, and that's this baby right here. And it looks very different from the Minotaur class gunship, to be honest. This is definitely an interesting looking setup here. Ooh, Sproge is taking his time. That's got me worried for sure. And look at these behemoths. I mean, this is a big ship. To be honest, though, you've got to keep in mind that these ships, you know, some of the newer ships, especially the Janus, for instance, they are older ships. Sir. So you can see how different they look. You know, they come from an earlier time when essentially the colonies weren't at war with Silence at all. They were at war with each other. They were trying to kill each other. A ton of people trying to leave the colony, some trying to remain. So this obviously caused a lot of problems. We've got better ships now, but these ships still have uses. For one, these are extremely heavily armored. Not so much for the Berserker class. And I'm actually making a major mistake right now. I've already spotted it, and that major mistake is I need to lower these ships dramatically. So, as you can see, Sproge is trying to get that bottom rung as well. Commander. Because the lower you are, depending on the ships you have, now keep that in mind, the better firepower you're going to have. You're going to be firing up at the enemy. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Let's go down like this. Yeah, that's perfect. And I will start firing fairly soon. In fact, I have an interesting ship here. Let's see which one it is. It's not this one. It's on the Berserk. Yes, it's a sweeper. So this sweeper class basically is supposed to be able to pop countermeasures, which are essentially anti-missile stuff, without even being programmed to. In other words, this thing, you know, you don't have to throw out a countermeasure. This thing will sort of set them up on its own. At least that's the understanding I have. Here we go. Approaching Sproge. As you can see, we are descending a bit. I haven't spotted a single one of his ships yet, but it looks like he's not going for his regular stacking maneuver, which actually has me feeling a little bit safe, but I don't think I should be feeling safe. This is Sproge after all. He knows what he's doing. So, once again, with this guy, the Berserk class, we're going to go real low here. Go real low. We still haven't spotted any of Sproge's ships, but we have a beautiful look at ours. So far, what do you guys think of the look of the new ships? I want to hear some feedback here. You know, for me, they just look intimidating. Really massive. And it makes sense how these ships would come from an earlier era. You can see the armor plating on them is definitely stronger. But, you know, the later class ships were not really focused on armor plating. They were focused on faster maneuvering, you know, electronic subsystems, etc. So the armor plating sort of fell out of style as it were. And there we go. He's already begun. Wow, look at that. He's got a Phobos class, guys. Is this new? What do you guys think? So he's already using some of the new stuff here. And I've got to do something about it. Oh, boy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to lower myself.
Yes, Commander.
I warned you guys that, you know, this was going to be a problem, essentially him getting real low so that he could fire on us. So I'm going to go ahead. I am going to try. And this is very unlikely that this is going to work. But we're going to fire that. I'm not going to say it. And we're going to fire one of these at that. Got to be very careful what we say here. As for this guy, I'm going to go to him. And what's this? Okay, let's deploy that. And with this munition, we're actually going to fire this. So I want to see how it works. Let's see where we can throw it. Let's hope it works, guys. Here we go. We did not focus fire, and that's primarily because we were so far above the enemy ships. I doubt we're even going to be able to get some shots unless we get down and dirty and up close and personal with these guys.
Missiles incoming!
Come on. Oh, he's got the torps. And he's firing beneath us. See, he can hit us with those torps quite easily and just destroyed our Berserk-class ship. We did get a few shots off. Looks like our torpedoes, some of our torpedoes might be able to hit. But I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. Let's go ahead for munitions. And, yeah. I think so. I think it's time.
So say we all.
So he is hacking one of our ships. Really frustrating. But there's really not much I can do here. What I am going to do is focus fire on the war drivers. So hopefully I can shoot down the hackers. That would be the best case scenario here. Well, the best case scenario would be just straight up winning, of course. Attacking me with 3 different ships here against just that one unit.
Squadron has gone dark.
Ooh, there we go. Little friend on the way. I think he'll stop it before it gets there, but I like to see that he's having to kind of play to my weaknesses, really. Let's go for munitions once again. So one really fascinating thing I think you can tell right away with the Janus class is so many munitions. I mean, you know, you could basically fire a munition each turn and you'd reload the 4th munition by the time you get to turn 4. So as long as you space these out, you could end up getting a lot of firepower out on the enemy here. As for posture, I'm going to go ahead and just increase that a bit.
Action stations!
And let's go ahead and, yeah, posture's fine. It's actually looking for munitions.
Missiles on their way.
And for our Minotaur, all we can do is keep trying to destroy the enemy ships. As you can see, I keep trying to get my broadside to hit them, but easier said than done. Oh, she's traveling. There's the nuke. Oh, we did get a hit with a nuke. I think we managed to destroy one of his ships down here, which was a nice hit. Pretty lucky, though. Because the Phobos is... Oh, no, the Phobos is about to go down, too. Guys, we're doing all right here. Not too bad. At least against Sproge, I barely ever managed to take out even a single one of his ships. So we're going to go ahead and... Let's see...
Brace for impact!
Still got some reloading time to do. Fair enough. Oh yeah, there we go. So we did take out one of his big boys, which makes me feel slightly better, but he's getting some excellent fire here from the Janus. As you can see, though, on the Janus, I should say, the Janus has some pretty decent firing capabilities here, even just from his actual regular guns. If we take a look at the posture here, we're going to go ahead and increase the attack a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't get some munitions out. So let's fire another one of these. I want to fire it down there. If we're not careful here, we could end up running into one of our own ships. I think we're going to fire at that guy, of course. Wish us luck! Come on, you can do this. You can do this, boys. We're so close to getting a few more kills.
Minotaur is taking damage.
There we go. Missiles out. Wow, I like how that curved around. That was really nice. So the Minotaur, poor Minotaur. I mean, he's got no chance of coming back, let's be honest. We're going to try to repair subsystems, but, I mean, just about everything is damaged. I think we want to fix navigation first. At least then we could use him as a bit of a kamikaze. Let's keep on firing. We're already targeting one of the enemy ships. And this guy, I think he's as low as he's going to go. Okay, let's go, boys. In the turn. So much health on these ships, too. I mean, it took them a while to destroy that frontal armor, so that's why it's got that extra ballistic
Minotaur
armor.
is taking damage.
It might be old-fashioned, but if it works, it works. Oh, is he going for... Oh, he might be going for a ram here. Accidental ram, in any case.
So say we all. Missile tubes prepped.
Well, you know I'm throwing everything I can over there. Let's take a look here at the chat. Hope you guys are enjoying. Let's see how many viewers we got. 74, not bad. You may be right, Mitchver. Janus. Janus is definitely the more Roman term there. Here we go, boys. He's taking his time, so that's got me worried.
Minotaur is taking damage.
Oh boy, he's going straight for the Minotaur now. Once he decides to close in for that Minotaur, we're in trouble. In fact, this Minotaur is on such bad footing, to be honest with you, that technically speaking, he could probably cause this to eventually crash into one of our ships. I definitely think that's a possibility. Repair your mini subsystems. None left. None left, mate. Although I can see what he means. He's talking about the armory here. Here we go. This is when Spurge will come in for the kill. And of course, we will do an auto replay of the battle, guys, so you guys get another view here. Then Spurge is going to come on and talk about, give you guys some tips, talk about the new ships and what he thinks. And we're eventually going to go ahead and do another fight. This time I'll try the Cylons. Although I have to say, facing Spurge, I'm a little excited. I think I did better than I usually do against him, which is no damage to him at all. So we did get a few kills here.
Minotaur is taking damage.
And now, of course, he is hacking into the Janus. Oh boy, fire control offline. Yeah, he is shutting us down. He is shutting us down.
Minotaur is taking damage.
Ooh, there we go. Look at how that exploded. That was massive. Just huge explosion there. Poor Minotaur is gone. And of course, we're not going to be able to do anything in terms of firing back. And this is one thing about Spurge. If you've faced him in combat, he'll do one of two things. He'll either stack and destroy you from afar, or he'll get up close and personal and not only just defeat you, but he'll shut down every single one of your systems before destroying your ship. He is really good when it comes to this. And I love to see sort of the way he approaches each game. So there we go. The Janus is getting smashed here. But you can see that frontal armor, man. It is taking a huge beating. and it's still sort of standing strong. So I could see this as definitely a sort of late game.
So say we all.
If anybody likes sort of a late game mechanics, this would be one of those that I think would be great in a late game situation, because he can really last a long time. All I can really do is try and ram. Try and ram.
Minotaur is taking damage.
Oh! Just a huge explosion. I think, in fact, it managed to damage the Nemesis there. Really, really cool. Alright guys, I'm going to show the auto replay here to you guys, and then of course I'll jump on with Sproach for him to give you guys some tips, talk about, you know, maybe some strategies you could use in the multiplayer arena, and then we're going to do another match. This time I'll play as the Cylons. Wish me luck. Wish me luck is all I have to say. But I do have to say the new look of the ships, it's almost like a gothic look, especially with the older ships. It's definitely intimidating, and I like that. You know, obviously during the wars between the humans, you'd want to have a ship that's fairly intimidating looking. Against the Cylons, well, Cylons are machines. They really don't care. They're not intimidated by the way a ship looks exactly. But I think in this case, you could definitely use this ship for that regard. And Sproge's move there was just beautiful. He teleported under our Berserker, and our Berserker barely got a chance to show off his skills. There's our nuke, our little lonely nuke. I mean, it was one of the nukes that actually made it through, which makes me happy. And it actually managed to destroy one of the enemy ships in proximity to the nuke, which was hilarious. But, of course, did not destroy this ship ultimately. It needed to take more damage before it finally blew up there, as you can see. So we did manage to kill some of his ships. That's the good news. Look at that firepower, man. Just coming from the Janus, it's definitely a beast. Get him, get him. Ooh. Those missiles immediately missed and then came back for more, and they did end up getting a kill on the enemy ship here. No, not yet, not yet. And this is, of course, where he had us totally cornered. That right there was a nice finish, for sure. As you can see, at that point, with my systems hacked, I was completely a sitting duck. Not really much you can do in a situation like that, although that's probably a question I want to ask Sproach here when he comes on, is what is the best thing to do when facing a Cylon fleet that's hacking you? Of course, the really fascinating thing about the Cylons, I do think that there's a lot of different ways to play as the Colonials, but there's even more ways to play as the Cylons and be successful. You just have to think a lot more. You got to think about a lot more different actual outcomes. So I'm gonna go ahead and call Sproach here, guys. We're gonna bring him on, and let me know if you guys don't hear my voice here on the call, because that would definitely be annoying. Let me give him a ring. Hey, hey, how's it going, Sproach? Good to, well, we've spoken before just recently,
Yep.
but good to see you again. Thanks, man. I think you gave me a little bit of leeway there, because I actually managed to get some shots off, so...
Don't be hard on yourself. It was a fun game.
It was fun. So I guess the first question I have for you, and if you could tell the viewers here, what do you think of the new ships, and what's your favorite, I guess?
Absolutely. How about we just get a little bit of confirmation from chat if they can hear you or not?
That's a great point. Guys, can everybody hear me speaking as well here, or can you just hear Sproge? Obviously, if they just hear you talking, they're just not gonna say anything. Hold on one sec. Let's see here.
No, I just said it, so we should have it here. Let's see. No, we can hear you.
Okay, great.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
So, sorry, what was the first question?
So I guess the first question would be, what do you think of the new ships? And if you could name a favorite, what would it be and why?
Oh, what do I think of the new ships? The new ships are quite good, actually. They have a great potential to change the way the multiplayer game is played. My favorite, really, the little attack ship that I used there, the point defense, quite good DPS with all of its tiny guns, and it's deceptively tanky because even though it doesn't have a huge amount of HP and armor, because it's so maneuverable, you can split the damage on all sides, so you can deplete all of your armor reserves on all sides of the ship before you actually start taking HP damage.
Oh, nice. Very nice. And I also noticed the same was true about the Janus, where, from what I understand, like, reading the commentary, it's kind of like, it used to be sort of like a pre-warship, well, pre-Cylon warship, and
Yes.
it has, like, really heavy armor. Like, even when you were firing at me, I was noticing, I was like, it takes Sproge usually a lot less time to destroy my ships. Like, it was soaking up a lot of damage.
Yes, absolutely. It's got the opposite way of thinking from the Ceretist, where the Ceretist uses its speed to spread the damage around. That the Janus just doesn't care. It doesn't care about speed or moving at all. It just slaps all the armor on it can, and then it just sits there and laughs as it gets shot.
Yes.
But Janus is probably a close second on favorite ship. It kind of fills the same role as the Ranger. However, it is a lot better when used as a dedicated torpedo boat, because you can just ram it into the face of the enemy and just throw a lot of torpedoes around in one turn.
Yes.
Same goes with using it with mines, especially EMP mines. It's incredibly devastating.
And maybe I wasn't using my mines correctly, because I dropped a few. I'm not sure if I scored any damage with them. But the addition of the mines definitely is going to change gameplay. I mean, that's, now people have to be worried about exactly where they're flying, etc. You could fly into some sort of trap. So I guess this will give people a lot more opportunities to sort of change their play style.
Absolutely, but my favorite way to use the mines is complete aggression. Get up close in their face and just dump them straight in the path of their ships, and have it detonate the next turn. Let's go full aggression.
That seems to work well. So I guess my second question would be, especially for anybody watching here, for those of you that don't know, guys, Sproge won the Battlestar Galactica Deadlock tournament. And did a really good job. And for just like basically not even the beginning Battlestar Galactica Deadlock player, but maybe sort of your amateur Battlestar Galactica Deadlock multiplayer player, are there any tips you can give, just like basic straightforward tips of what to avoid and what to go for, sort of?
Well, make sure you repair your subsystems if you're getting hacked by Cylons is a good start. Use your sliders. The sliders are incredibly important. If you're playing Colonial, if your ship is being targeted, put it to full defense. If your ship is not being targeted, put it to full offense. And as soon as you enter combat, it's good to have it on neutral when you're not in combat, due to the fact that you get that little bit of extra maneuverability, so you can dive slightly deeper. But other than that, make sure you are adjusting your sliders basically every turn. You want to get the maximum out of every single ship. Other than that, make sure you spread your damage on your different sides. So if your armor is starting to get depleted on your left side, make sure you show them your right side. So stuff like that. Fairly basic.
Excellent. 1 second here. They're complaining my mic's too low. Let me just pop that up a bit. Give me a second here. And we'll get this on full blast. Okay, there we go. So I guess my final question would be, hopefully that's a little better there, guys. My final question would be, specifically, if you're getting hacked like I was there, and it sort of seems like there's no way out, and you're in it, like in this case, I think I was pretty finished at the end. But assuming you have maybe like a Jupiter class still alive, still able to move around, and you have like 2 ships getting hacked, what's the best way to escape from that situation? Or is there a way? Is that just GG basically?
Oh, there are definitely ways. A lot depends on fleet comps, of course. Nowadays, you have the new Berserk ship, which is actually pretty good against hackers due to the fact that it's got incredible amounts of firepower. Okay. It's deceptively strong. Like, its DPS is absurd with those medium guns on its side. So having those in your fleet is a very good way to counter hacking, because hacking doesn't care if you have a lot or very little armor. They just care about if you can kill the enemy before they can kill your subsystems. Other than that, make sure you put your defensive sliders up. If you're being hacked, go full defense on the sliders, and make sure you're always repairing your systems.
Okay, awesome.
And because that's, I noticed that you weren't repairing the Minotaur there, so I was able to completely put it out of the fight, and it just sat there for the rest of the game.
It was crushed, yeah, and then there was nothing left. The entire ship was dark.
Yeah, I was looking at why did my ship stop hacking it? Oh, there's nothing left to hack.
He's burned out everything. It's completely destroyed. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Sproge, for jumping on here, man. Is there anything else you'd like to say, even just some general advice for players, or anything about the new DLC?
No, simply that it's a very fun DLC, and I highly encourage everyone who, like you, are a little bit afraid of playing Cylons.
Oh, very.
Try them out. Give them a couple of shots in skirmish and go into multiplayer. Play with them. There's nothing wrong with losing a couple of times. Just the overclock mechanic is incredibly fun to use, and it's very satisfying. So don't be afraid to play with Cylons.
Yeah, and actually, I was just going to say that the Cylon setup, I don't want to get too off topic here, but the reason I really like it is it sort of reminds me of certain decks in a certain tradable card game I used to play, where you wouldn't defeat your enemy by doing damage. You would essentially defeat your enemy by getting rid of every single card in their deck. And I feel like when you play with the Cylons, you're essentially able to destroy my fleet without necessarily dealing damage. You basically just shut off all the subsystems, and I'm basically just a sitting duck floating around in space. Do you think it's tough to get to that level of skill of being able to like hack well? And specifically, if you're going to create a Cylon fleet that's a hacking fleet, what do you want to avoid as a hacking fleet?
So, taking it back a little step here so we can talk about that.
Sure.
You're absolutely correct that the Cylon fleet has a lot more win conditions than the Colonial fleet. The Colonial fleet either kills you with missiles or kills you with guns.
Yep.
The Cylon fleet can do that, and it can board you, and it can also hack you. If you want to go for a hacking win condition, you have to realize that you can't tank the enemy damage. You have to have some way of avoiding the enemy's damage for prolonged amounts of times. With this fleet that I use now, that way was getting below the enemy and staying below them to avoid the Colonial much stronger top guns. So when you're doing hacking, you either have to choose, do I want to go below them, or do I want to try to stay further away and hack them with war drivers? You can't, it's not a good idea to mix in a couple of, say, revenants or something like that into a hacking fleet, because you have to focus on one win condition at a time. So if you're wanting to kill them with hacking, then go fully commit to kill them with hacking. Don't start putting in like big gunships or torpedo boats.
Interesting. In other words, when you're trying to play such a specific sort of like niche gameplay style, if you try to mix it up and add some flavor to it, it's not going to work out as well as you think, because that's going to take away from another possible hacking ship.
Exactly.
Right,
exactly.
Makes sense. Very cool. Well, I think we're about to have another match now, Sprog, and we're going to jump in here. I'm going to try the Cylons this time. I still think I'm going to get crushed, but give me a few minutes. I'm going to try to create a hacking fleet, and we'll see how I do. I want to see how you respond to it. But anyway, man, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And everybody give a round of applause to Sprog for the victory he achieved. It was very, very interesting stuff, and I hope to see you in future BSG tournaments, man.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Thanks so much, Sprog.
Okay, see you in a little bit.
Well, that was really cool, guys, talking to one of the masters of the game himself. I mean, Sprog is one guy I have never, ever, ever beaten in Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. Not even close. So I do consider myself an okay player. You know, when I jump online, I tend to win, I would say, most of my fights. But against Sprog, it's just no way. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go ahead and head back. I would definitely take his advice. We're going to move back here. Hold on a second. And I'm going to try to create a Cylon fleet. So, again, my knowledge of the Cylons is almost non-existent in terms of multiplayer fleets. Sprog, as you could hear there, he really has a really perfect idea of essentially how to create a fleet that's useful, for instance, in hacking things like this. So we're going to try and create a Cylon fleet, and at the same time, we can also take a look at some of the new Cylon ships. So, of course, we've got all of these beautiful things, and the one that Sprog was talking about is the Cerastes, the fast defensive gunship. So this small and agile gunship created a response to the rapid escalation of colonial Viper design. The Cerastes is fitted with point defense turrets similar to those found on the flight pods of Battlestars and specializes in softening hostile fighter squadrons. Really interesting. I want to go ahead and add him. So I'm going to add the Cerastes and a really interesting looking ship. A little weird, honestly. We'll get a closer look, obviously, when the battle starts. But I'm going to put him in the fleet. Let's take a look over here. I don't think I'm going to go for a hacking victory, but I might try. We've got the Phobos here, a versatile tech cruiser, sophisticated data systems integrated into its FTL drives, and an array of missile tubes. But again, remember what he mentioned. He mentioned that if we're going to go for a hacking fleet, we need to take a hacking fleet. It's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this guy with the Nemesis Corvette, and I'm going to try, what's this? Ooh, we've got some homing cluster mines, armor piercers, a cluster bomb, anti-personnel cluster munitions. So this is new. So essentially you hit a fleet with this, you're going to kill some of the people inside. Seems pretty fascinating. I think I'm going to take one of these. Just because. So we're definitely not going for a hacking victory. No way. That being said, if we're not going for a hacking victory, we have to get pretty aggressive. So I'm going to take another Phobos here. Actually, one Phobos. And actually, maybe we could still do something here. Alright, I'm going to add another ship here. Adding a Revenant. So we're definitely, as far as I could tell, not going for any sort of real hacking. And maybe we get rid of the Revenant. Okay, let's take an Arachne. So the Arachne is essentially the closest thing to the design of a colonial ship. Of course, this is a Cylon ship, but quite similar to the design of that colonial ship. So let's go ahead, let's get one of these. I want to see how they work. And we'll add one final ship here. I think I'm going to make it a Cerastes. He really seems to like them. Sprog seems to like the Cerastes class. So I'm going to take a few of these, and I think I'm going to do what he essentially did. Basically just try to get behind the enemy as quickly as I can. Let's see. Actually, I think I'm going to take that because I know he's going to shoot something at us. So we'll save that as Cylon Fleet. And I'm going to go ahead and jump in and create a match as the Cylon Fleet. So let's hope for the best here. And hopefully we get a pretty good victory. I have to say, I think the Slith market would go bankrupt if I beat Sproge, because if anybody bet on me at all, you would win probably every single Slith in existence. Keep that. My fleet is already done, says Sproge. I'm not surprised. Okay, very cool. So we got Sproge here, and we're going to ready up and jump into the fight.
Fleet group is jumping in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I messed up, guys. Sorry about that. Hold on a second. Chose the wrong fleet group. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and quit here. In fact, we'll make this even more interesting.
So say we all.
Ultimate kamikaze
So
crash.
say we all.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Sproge. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so we'll create a match. 4,000 points. Create. So this one was called Cylon Fleet. No, that's not it. That's the one we had before. That's it. Alright, let's see how this goes, guys. Wish us luck as the Cylons. I certainly hope we get some luck here. But more importantly, I want to get a closer look at these ships. So, one thing Sproge said that I rarely do is using those sliders. I occasionally do to increase damage, but definitely in terms of getting hacked, I don't use those sliders most of the time. So, that's definitely something that I'm going to go ahead and consider doing here for the future. So let's start doing what Sproge did, where Sproge got down really, really low. And he mentioned the reason this was is because the colonial fleets, they've got better top guns. So if you can get below the enemy, you're definitely at an advantage if you're playing as the Cylons. I mean, those colonial fleet guns on top are definitely capable of ripping through our armor. And just look at these ships. These beauties, man. Specifically the Phobos. I love the way it looks. Just creepy. And once again, that very gothic look to it, almost like a citadel. Like if you turned it on its side, it would be some sort of Cylon church. And for those of you that know anything about the series, the Cylons actually are very, very religious. I know it's a bit weird for robots to be religious, but they are. They're an extremely religious, I want to say race, but I'm not sure if races apply to robots or cyborgs. Although the Cylons would probably argue that that's not at all the case, and that they do apply. So here we go. We're moving closer here. And I'm not sure exactly when I'm supposed to pop those war drivers. I probably should have asked Sproge that, you know, when do you pop your war drivers during these fights? That would have been definitely important, but I'm going to go ahead and I am going to launch. And I'm also going to do one of these.
By your command.
Get him to react a bit. As for the cluster bomb, it's my first time firing a cluster bomb, and we definitely need a lock to be able to fire it. So that seems to target only enemy, basically personnel on the ship, which is pretty cool. Let's get this guy over here because he can hack. And we'll end the turn and start moving forward. So really what I want to do with those torpedoes is kind of get him to react. Get him to either move out of the way or, you know, sort of use some defensive countermeasures. And that's going to be, I think, to our advantage. Now, what about this?
By your command.
Hold on a second. Can we hack a Viper squadron? No, we cannot. We definitely cannot hack a Viper squadron. We can only hack ships. So I'm going to go ahead. I am going to use his suggestions here. System processes, fire control. We're going to increase that strength significantly.
Distribution complete.
And with the Cylons, of course, you take away from other subsystems when you do this. So you do want to be careful.
By your command. By your command.
For the cluster bomb, I wonder... No, the cluster bomb cannot be used against these smaller fleets. Fair enough. Alright, let's end the turn. So he's approaching with a ton of Viper MK1 squadrons, which leads me to believe he's probably not going for a Viper attack, or else I think he'd probably take the Mark IIs. The Mark 1s are definitely not as strong. I mean, they could still get the job done, don't get me wrong. Let's try this. Yeah, let's see what happens. It's our first time using it. And I'm also going to take this little buddy of ours. Unfortunately, he's being attacked right now by enemy ships. Come on, we still have to get a bit closer here. There's the Torps, as well as the cluster bomb. The Torps totally missed him. Amazing job there by Sproge. And we've got to be careful here, or we're going to end up ramming.
By your command. Calculating.
We also didn't lower ourselves as much as we should have here.
Calculating. Confirmed.
Let's see if we can still hack. Yes. All right, nice. It's a start. Of course, we lost our war drivers, but we can still hack. So, another thing Sproge said was when you're not being shot at, try to increase those, and look at this, we could also do a tactical jump with this thing. I might try this out just to see what happens. So we're going to go for a tac jump, and end the turn. We'll see what happens here. This is what he did before. He got under us and started to fire torpedoes from this thing. So I think we probably should have gone for the torp attack, where basically we jump under his ships, we fire torps up. It's very hard to defend, even with flak, torps that are being fired from directly underneath your ship, as you could imagine. The flak just doesn't reach that far, and it's not made for that purpose, really. Here we go, cluster bombs, about to hit. Oh yeah, look at those cluster bombs, nice! So a little explosive effect there. I'm like the Cylon now. Look at me, I'm like the Cylon now. Oh boy, oops. Unfortunately, these guys are going to crash if we're not careful. Let's drop them a bit. We're going to move these guys forward a little bit as well. And I'm going to fire torps right away at the hacked ship. Try to damage it even more, essentially. You also want to stay in close proximity to the ship you're trying to hack. I think that pretty much goes without saying. Let's fire another cluster bomb there at the Berserk. And we also want to move down a bit. Oh boy. Oh boy, he got one. The Sarastia. Okay, we're going to still keep trying to chase. Those EMP mines knocked out all of our navigation, our fire control, engineering tech bay hangar, armory. Just goes to show you how effective the mines are. And of course, these mines were added with the reinforcement pack. So now you get to use mines. You can see Sproge is already learning how to use these really well. He totally took these systems offline. This ship, he took this ship offline just with some mines. Just unbelievable. So let's go ahead. We'll continue. Let's see if I can get any shots off. No, we got to wait a little bit. And apparently there's also a cooldown on the tactical jump, which I think is a good idea. Now, it's a bit too late to fire countermeasures, but why not? Let's go for it, and we'll end the turn.
Projectiles bearing
nice!
constant.
We actually did manage to
Nemesis
stop with the PCM there. Unfortunately, we didn't stop all of them, and there's the Nemesis. I'm not at all surprised that my my record with the Cylons is not as good as my record with the Colonials. Wow, that's interesting. So we'll try to repair subsystems, but I just don't see repair going on here. I don't think it's possible. All right.
Arachne hull compromised.
Arachne hull is compromised. Only a matter of time before she goes down. She's not as strong as the Phobos here, the new Phobos. Fire torp here. So this time he crushed us without a single loss. Not a single loss to his fleet.
Arachne unit offline.
Here we go. Oh! Oh, he got him. He got him. He's going to take down the Phobos now. And even the Phobos is pretty heavy on damage potential here. This poor guy. It looks like he's slowly getting his navigation back. And he is using, of course, the Janus class. We were just using those in the last battle, and they did really well. These Janus class ships are just extremely massive hunks of steel. There's no way they go down without a serious, serious fight. I think he's about to take out the Phobos here. We killed a few of his Phoboses before. They're not as strong as the Janus armor-wise, but boy, can they get the job done. There we go. And, of course, another win by Sproge. An excellent win by Sproge. We're going to view the replay, guys. And I want to hear what you guys think so far about the reinforcement pack and specifically about the new ships. What's your favorite so far? What do you think of Sproge's feedback? We really want to get what you guys think about each of these streams. Looks like one of the torps did actually hit. I didn't think any of them hit. We got a little glancing shot with a torpedo there. That was our jump. I love that new ability. I have to say the jump ability is really cool. I mean, just imagine if you can get maybe 2 of these in your fleet. Midway through the battle, you jump behind the enemy, you turn around, you start firing. It's got to be extremely effective. I must say also, cinematics-wise, and I'm not sure if this is just me, but cinematics-wise, there's so much more action. I mean, there was already so much action in the replay mode before, but now with these new ships, it feels like there is gunfire everywhere. Just things are happening every single second, and I really like that. Okay, guys. Very cool, GG Sproge. We're going to proceed here a bit, and now we are going to jump into something else. I think we've done enough multiplayer matches here. I hope you guys enjoyed. And now we're going to jump into a little bit of story mode. Thanks, Sproge. So Sproge is here, guys. So if you guys have any questions relating to tactics, approach, things like that, this is definitely the time to ask. Sproge is a master at this game, so anything you want to know, let us know. Another thing, I actually have a question for Sproge, which is, that time I only took 4 war drivers, I guess 1 to 2 different ships, 1 squad to 2 different ships. Should I have taken more, or where did I make the mistake with the war drivers? Because they got wasted pretty quickly. As for that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to do some practice here. Let's proceed. Let's see how the AI deals with this setup. So we're not going to be facing Sproge this time. We're going to be facing the AI entirely. And I'm going to take the colonial fleet I just made against... Let's give them a nice little fleet there. I think that's fair. I think that's kind of fair anyway. And let's see if we could change this outcome against an AI fleet versus Sproge.
Fleet group is jumping in 3, 2, 1.
So once again, we don't have many ships to start out with, and that's primarily because these ships are quite expensive. This is also just a 4,000 point fleet.
So say we all.
But first things first, I'm going to get under the enemy. I think that's one thing I've noticed Sproge does. Number one, stacking. Number two, getting under the enemy almost always. And he did mention how important it is for the Cylons. I'm not sure if it's just as important for the colonial fleet, but assuming, like Sproge said, that these top guns are actually really quite good in colonial fleet, especially these, as you can see, just look at them. I mean, they are intimidating to say the least. So these top guns, if we can get under the enemy, they're going to be targeting the enemy that way. So I think that's how we'll start off in the turn. Going low as we can go. They definitely have some sort of additional ships here. I'm not sure if they're just regular Cylon fighters, or if they're war drivers, something like that.
Yes, Commander.
Once again, I'm getting these guys really low. I'm not taking Sproge's approach of stacking, which I probably should. I am pretty clumsy, as you guys know, so I've done okay in most cases with stacking, but I don't want to push my luck, especially since the engine of the Janus class is a pretty big one. So I feel like if we don't get it perfectly right, we're going to end up causing a massive crash. That's definitely a war driver. Oh yeah, that's a war driver for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and see if the Berserk can start firing at the war driver. I think he can. And we're going to do just like Sproge said, we're putting our attack up all the way. If we're not in combat, why not, you know? I'm going to fire a proximity mine. And I think with this unit here, we'll fire some torpedoes if we can. I guess we have to fire guided missiles, so we have to wait till we spot the enemy. Alright, end the turn. Get the war drivers, come on, boys.
Missiles incoming!
Oh, we fired the proximity mine a bit too late.
Is hostile.
So this guy's absolutely targeting the war driver. There's several of them approaching, so I'm going to try to do as much damage as possible here to the enemy. First thing we're going to do is that. That's got to be an instant kill, or pretty close. Fire a guided missile over here at this buddy here.
Missiles on their way.
Once again, we'll put attack all the way up for this. Definitely want to go for that guy. He might be smaller, but the scary fact is he has the ability to hack us, which to me is much more dangerous than anything else. Let's see how it goes. Oh boy, instant hack. What are they arming? Oh, that's the mines. So the mines actually take a while to arm. Unfortunately, a bit too long to arm. I'm going to keep trying to attack those war drivers. And let's keep repairing subsystems here. We'll try to get another munition off. If not, I'm going to go straight for repairing subsystems. I don't see any badly damaged, but let's start focusing on the armory. Nope, no repairs needed. We should be okay for now, although I will focus on the war drivers with this ship. So we're trying to get rid of any ability they have to hack us. I'm hoping that's going to increase our survivability significantly.
Missile tubes prepped.
Here we go.
IFF confirms unit is hostile.
Okay, took out one of the enemies, but that hacking is intense, to say the least. Are they trying to ram us? I think they're trying to ram us. Gotta be careful here. I'm just gonna keep him here. This guy, he's gonna have to go down a bit. Oh boy. Oh, that's still gonna be death. Can he avoid it?
On it, Commander.
Maybe. I don't think so. I think we're gonna end up crashing into the Talon. And this guy desperately needs to repair subsystems. So now we'll start repairing those subsystems. And this is something that that was mentioned earlier as something very important. I hope we can get another shot off, but I think we're pretty much finished on shots unless we get very lucky here. So I'm going to focus entirely on the ship right there. So we'll focus fire. Actually, we could start firing at the war drivers. Let's go for it. Oh yeah, she's gone. It was our berserk that actually rammed into her. It just doesn't seem that there's much they can do here against the war drivers. Keep repairing our subsystems that are damaged. That one's fine. There we go. We finally took out a war driver squad. It took us really long, and it's just one war driver squad after all. We are arming those mines. I'm really hoping that they're going to target the enemy. Come on! Oh, they're about to get armed. So we're about to see if they work. Again, we may have fired them too low, too high, etc., etc. So I'm going to cancel the target now. I'm going to focus fire on the Arachne. I think that's going to be our biggest threat now. Let's try to take out the enemy Arachne immediately. Let's go for a guided missile.
Missiles on their way.
Let's go for guided missile again. And since we're right underneath this thing, I think we should get a pretty good shot.
Missiles incoming.
Arachne's definitely in trouble, although it looks like the enemy didn't really take much damage. Now, another thing here is repairing the subsystems takes a really long time. I think that may have to do with me having everything on attack. So we'll put everything back on defense, and we're going to keep chasing the enemy here. If I can get any sort of shots off, I will take them. Example right there. And example right there. Let's go for it. Come on, get the Arachne. Let's kill him. Get rid of him. Send these toasters where they belong. There we go. That's a dead Arachne for sure. We are still getting crushed here by the enemy hackers. So it's up to these two ships to essentially take down the enemy.
Yes, sir.
See how we're doing here with the Janus. Repairing Tech Bay. It's going to take a while, I think. Fire control is offline. See how that Talon is doing?
Missiles incoming.
Oh boy. Torpedoes hitting our ship when it's already badly damaged. Start working on navigation. So all of these ships right now are trying to repair the damage to their subsystems. At least the Minotaur is still getting some shots off, firing at the rear of the Arachne, but I'm not sure if he can take him down alone. I think he's going to need some additional firepower, although the Minotaur is a pretty effective gunship. So I could be wrong. It's the Raider prototype, not worried about him. Heck, I'm not even worried about the war drivers right now. Come on, come on. Oh, those torpedoes are going to hurt. Actually, they've gone right past the Minotaur, and they're hitting the frontal side of the Janus. Thankfully, since this thing is so strong, the Janus isn't really taking much damage to the frontal part. So we'll keep on moving here. And actually, with the Berserk, we might be able to do okay. I'm actually going to launch our sweepers. We should have done this before. But I want to focus fire there at the War Drivers. Try to take them out for good.
Understood.
Let's see what we can do here. Ooh, hello. This thing is just basically a giant spaceport that we can use to fire at the enemy.
Missiles on their way.
It's amazing how many different skills he's got there. And let's see if we can get fire control on top of this guy, too. I think it's more important to get fire control on than it is navigation, because these guided missiles that we have armed, they're going to go to the correct location no matter what we do. Here we go. Arachne taking a few hits there. Not nearly as many as I expected him to, but hopefully we can finish him up little by little. So I'm going to turn my broadsides here. And this time I want to focus fire on him, on the Arachne. Come on, guys. Keep up that firepower. Come on. Come on. We got this. He's a tough one. Tough customer, guys. Real tough customer. I'm going to start turning, actually, with our Janus. And I'm actually going to start increasing my altitude a bit with this guy. Oh, that could be a kill for the Janus. He's going for the right side, though. We're trying to turn to the right as quickly as possible. We still have some defenses there. And actually, we managed to save the ship. For how much longer, I'm not sure. Keep on targeting this guy. Get him. Come on, boys. Let's see how this guy's doing. So he's got fire control back, I think. Nope. Still being repaired. Not get too excited, Agrippa. There we go. Arachne's down. I think we might be able to get a win here. Now we just have to worry about the Talon class. And of course our other ships are all repairing navigation, etc. So now we really just need to turn these guys around and hunt. We are the hunters, not the hunted, I hope. Repair your fire control systems, boy. Come on now. Guided missile time, guys. So good when you repair those fire systems, as Sproge mentioned. Really allows you to go ahead and get your ship back under control and start firing away. So sometimes even that tiny bit of difference makes a huge difference. If you can, you know, repair some fire systems and get off one last missile volley, that could change the entire game. It really could. Keep on moving here. Outgoing.
Subsystem is back online.
Oh, I hope it doesn't hit. I hope it doesn't hit the Janus. Oh my goodness. Oh, I think a few of them might hit the Janus, guys. Oh yeah, 2 of them hit the Janus for sure. She's going down. She's going down in a fiery explosion. Oh my goodness. I'm still chasing that Talon though.
Yes, Commander.
So I think the sweeper is entirely used for basically stopping enemy projectiles, things like that, but it's got to have some sort of offensive uses, I'm guessing, right? So we'll try to find those.
On it, Commander.
This guy's also in trouble, but if we can hold him for one more turn, we can get a really nice shot on the Talon. The guided missiles. So hopefully the Talon won't target us for a bit here. Oh boy.
Missiles on their way.
Come on, you could be the saving grace of the fleet. Oh, he's just got to stay alive long enough. Almost didn't get that out. To get a few shots off. Come on. Come on. And, of course, we're getting side shots with the Berserk. As mentioned before, it's actually a lot like the Minotaur in that, you know, it's got these top guns that are really effective. A bit smaller than the Minotaur. That's about it. Keep up the fire. Keep up the fire. That bottom armor is going to disappear. And you can see the gunfire coming off this Berserk. It's so fast. I mean, the shots coming off it are just extremely fast. So if you're a fan of the Minotaur, and I've seen a lot of people online using the Minotaur offensive strategy, which is basically you just go full Minotaur and done really well. I can see those same people taking the Berserk a lot in future games. So we remain below the enemy. That's why we're getting all these shots. They are, of course, turning their left side to us. So we're going to have to deal with that as well.
Yes, Commander.
But I think we can get this win with the new Berserker ship. So this is one of the new ships, getting the final kill there. Oh, yeah. That's a victory. Barely. And we are going to take a look at the replay. Hey, Zagloba. How you doing, bud? Good to see everybody. Fire Shark, SGB, etc. Good to see you guys. Okay, guys, we're going to take a look here at this auto-resolve, and then we're going to start winding down here pretty soon. Do want to get a few final words in, but let's watch our auto-resolve battle and see how we did. And Sproge just mentioned, and he had told me this before, but I don't recall if we totally made it clear to you guys. When you're going for hacking, I think the mistake I made that he just shared there, that he had mentioned before, is basically if you're gonna go hacking, you gotta go full hacking. You can't take yourself for granted and be like, well, maybe I should take this, you know, this cruiser just in case the hacking doesn't go to plan. No, it doesn't work like that. As Sproge mentioned, if you're gonna go for a hacking strategy, it has to be completely focused on hacking. So if that fails, that's it. You're done. I definitely go for a much more careful hacking strategy, and all it does is really annoy or frustrate the enemy. It doesn't actually destroy them or anything like that. There's our nuke. Oh yeah. Didn't really need to fire a nuke at that ship, but I figure it's always better safe than sorry sort of situation. Okay, so I guess actually it looks like our mines did hit the enemy there. If you saw that explosion just kind of happen out of nowhere, that's where we had set the mines. So it looks like the enemy did run into them. Now I'm not sure just how much damage was done from those alone, but that's pretty cool. there we go, guys. That is the finale there, and it was not an easy fight. We had 2 ships left there at the end. I mean, the enemy really put up an amazing fight there. And just goes to show you that these new ships are going to change the game quite a bit. I always love when, especially a game that has a strong multiplayer focus, when new things are added that sort of change the status quo, let's say, of the gameplay. I think now people are going to have to make some somewhat different ships. But to wrap up, I do want to go back into Skirmish, and I want to just kind of go over those ships again so we can get some close looks at these guys. I have to say, without a doubt, my favorite ship is going to be absolutely the Janus class. Just really cool. I mean, it's just a massive behemoth. It's got 3 different places to put anything you want, essentially. You could put a nuke, a proximity mine. You could put some guided missiles here if you want. You can make this all mines, etc. So you could go for a totally different strategy. I'm actually starting to think of one where I get 2 of these ships, I load them up with mines, I move forward with the enemy with some Minotaurs. As soon as they start chasing me, I run away, drop the mines, and see what happens. I mean, that's one of my first ideas, of course. The Berserk Carrier is basically a Minotaur with the addition of any of the selections over here, sweepers, Viper MK2s, etc. Just basically any flying addition you're going to want. So I think that that's a really incredible addition and really fun to play around with. I'm starting to actually think the Berserker might be a little better than the Minotaur now, because we saw the speed at which it was firing. Definitely doesn't have as much guns as the Minotaur does, but oh my goodness, the speed was incredible. For the Cylon fleets, and particularly the ones we built now, I have to say the Phobos, really fascinating cruiser. I mean, I love the way it looks. It's absolutely beautiful. It's not as strong as the Janus, but it's sort of got that tanky feel that the Janus has as well. We've also got the addition of these cluster bombs. I guess the idea behind these is you completely destroy the enemy's crew, basically. If they have no crew, boarding the ship is easy. So I guess if you, not the War Driver, but the, I can't remember, I believe it's the Centurion. If you can maybe damage the enemy crew, send on some Centurions, take over the enemy ship, should be pretty easy with a situation like that. And of course, the Cerastes gunship. And Sproge mentioned he really liked these. They're really fast, they're really maneuverable, and just like he said, to me, it's one of the fastest ships in the game. It's just going to move extremely fast. It can absolutely take on Viper Mark 1 and Mark 2 squads really well. Another thing is it almost seems, and it's kind of explained in the explanation of the ship itself, that it's sort of the Cylon's answer to the Viper Mark 1s and Mark 2s. Just a much bigger version and a much deadlier one. But guys, let me know in the comments which of these ships you like the most and why. We always like to hear your feedback on this sort of thing. And of course, as you can see there, Muso posted the holiday sale, which you guys absolutely should check out. I want you guys to get the best deals on anything Slytherin Matrix related. And of course, the pack itself, the reinforcement pack, can be purchased now as well. Highly recommend you guys take a look there and grab it. I think you guys are going to enjoy. Let's take a look here. So I'm definitely going to name the Janus as my favorite, and primarily just because it's an older ship. I like, you know, reusing things. That I'm sort of a recycler, as it were. And I think, you know, despite the fact it's an older ship that was pre-Cylon War related, it definitely gets the job done. It's got very heavy armor. It is slow, but that heavy armor, it's got to help in some way. So we definitely want to do some more battles in the future with those. It's just really fun to play as them. And I also want to thank Sproge for being able to come on and share a lot of his expertise. I feel like if we have more people like Sproge come on here, share their thoughts, give some tips, then we're going to get a lot more people into multiplayer on BSG Deadlock. And especially with the release of this DLC, I'd love to see that happen. Hey, how's it going, Chav Hunter? Good to see you, man. I want to thank everybody else for stopping by. This was a fun one for sure. I believe our next stream is going to be on Monday. Isn't that right, Muso? And today is actually a bank holiday, but, you know, we love you guys so much. We love streaming for you guys so much. We decided, hey, we're still going to do the stream today. We don't want to let these guys down. We want to make sure that they see the newest reinforcement pack. So I hope you guys appreciate that as well. In any case, thank you so much, guys, for watching. It was fun. And next time, maybe we can face somebody else besides Sproge, because I've gotten beaten way too many times. I need a win here against a real human opponent. SGBU is saying, when is Field of Glory 2 going to be streamed again? Not sure. I don't think we've actually written the setup for next week's stream yet. We have somewhat of an idea of what we want to do. Thank you so much, Laird. I really appreciate it, man. But more than likely, we will add it. Of course, Immortal Fire is really neat with the addition of the Spartans and the Immortals, or the Persians. I just call them the Immortals because they're incredible. They've got an amazing army. But in general, I'm not really sure. Again, the best place to go to sort of, share whether or not you guys want to see a certain stream is to the Slither and Matrix YouTube channels. If you drop something in the comments, we see that all the time. So if you drop in the comments, hey guys, really like this stream, could you please do, this game? And then if other people rate up your comment, they don't even need to post, just hit the thumbs up. We will get a good idea of what you guys want to see. No problem, have you played? Yeah, maybe the one after the next one. I think Musa's right on that. Probably not next week, but we'll see if we can fit it in. Okay, guys, thank you again. Thank you, Sproge, for the exciting battle. Hope you guys like these new ships. I certainly do. And I hope to be seeing you guys online, because I'm going to be using the Janus to completely destroy your fleets. So I do apologize in advance. Thanks again, guys. Take care, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend here. I hope you all have fun. And as we go into the holiday season here, I hope you guys are all prepared for the festivities. Take care, my friends.